Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're journeying into a really compelling and truly complex case from South Korea.
Oh, yeah.
It's one that, well, it initially looked like just a tragic accident, but as we sort of pull back the curtain, it unravels into something far, far more sinister.
Definitely. With twists and turns that honestly could rival any psychological thriller.
Absolutely.
And this isn't just about, a single event. It's a really chilling narrative that forces us to question our perceptions of love and trust, and even, I think, the very nature of human vulnerability. We'll explore how a case that seemed like a straightforward accidental drowning actually sparked this huge nationwide reinvestigation.
Right.
And that exposed layers upon layers of manipulation and deception. What really stands out to me here is how these details that seem separate at first, when you connect them, they paint a truly terrifying picture.
We've gathered quite a stack of sources for this deep dive, everything from news reports, some gripping investigative documentaries, even courtroom summaries.
Yeah, the court docs are key here.
All centered around what became known as the Gapyeong Valley murder. Our mission today is basically to uncover the life of the victim, Sang-yeop, the alleged perpetrators, Eun-hae, and Hyeon-su. And really look at how a family's relentless quest for justice, which got amplified by a TV station, ultimately brought this hidden, pretty horrific truth to light.
Get ready, because it really takes some turns.
Okay, so our story really begins with Eun-hae. She was born in 1991.
Right.
And her childhood, it seems, was marked by really immense hardship, just profound poverty.
Yeah, that context is so crucial. Both her parents were disabled, and the family was really struggling living on government welfare. It was about, $450,000 a month?
Which is just a meager sum, barely covering the basics.
Exactly. So Lee was kind of thrust into responsibility really early. She was working part-time jobs to help support the family while she was still a student.
So young.
And this upbringing, it forged this image of her, someone perceived as mature, responsible beyond her years. A quality that, as we'll see, gets deeply and disturbingly reevaluated later on.
Her story even touched the nation's heart at one point. Back in 2002, NBC Television did a feature on her family.
I remember that.
And it led to their home being renovated by interior designers, totally free of charge. She was praised, seen as this filial, resilient child.
Yeah, she even publicly said she wanted to help society in the future. It created this really powerful origin story, didn't it? Gathered huge public sympathy.
Definitely. This carefully cultivated image made her seem so sympathetic.
But beneath that surface, her personal life continued to be plagued by this string of, misfortune seems too mild a word now. In retrospect, they take on a much darker hue.
Because you see, at just 18, Lee became pregnant out of wedlock. Then, in 2010, her new boyfriend died in a car accident. And 4 years after that, in 2014, another partner died, this time during a diving trip in Thailand. The circumstances back then weren't really detailed publicly.
Right. Just ruled an accident at the time.
So it's presented as this series of heartbreaking losses for one person, or perhaps, something more sinister just beginning to unfold.
Exactly.
So Lee's path eventually crosses with Sang-yeop, who becomes the victim in this case. She was an intern at a large research company.
And Yoon worked there. He was a researcher, about 8 years older than her.
Right. And their relationship developed, and Yoon became deeply, almost obsessively, it seems, devoted to Lee.
It's fascinating and also kind of a tragic foreshadowing, isn't it? How completely Yoon embraced her pre-existing life. I mean, he legally adopted her daughter.
Wow.
That's a profound act of commitment. It really signals the depth of his feelings, maybe his willingness to sacrifice everything.
They ended up getting secretly married in March 2017.
Secretly.
Yeah, and the secrecy, it was apparently because Yoon's parents didn't approve of Lee's background, her past, and also the age gap. So no big wedding, just a simple registration, some pre-wedding photos, a love story kept very private.
And that secrecy, looking back, it feels like a major red flag.
Yeah.
It hints at a relationship that might not have been as transparent or mutually supportive as it looked. Maybe an environment ripe for isolation and control.
And their living arrangements really highlight this disturbing imbalance. Yoon worked in Suwon, right? And he lived in this tiny, cramped, semi-basement apartment, like literally a basement room.
Yeah, grim.
While Lee insisted on having a luxurious apartment over in Incheon, she cited, her social life, her friends were there.
And Yoon paid for it?
Yoon paid the deposit, a substantial initial deposit, 140 million won for Lee's apartment.
That's a staggering amount. especially for someone living how he was.
It really is. And Yoon was, well, truly devoted, almost to a fault. He sent his entire salary to Lee.
His whole salary, wow.
Yeah, trusting her completely to manage their finances. But while Lee lived in comfort, even luxury, Yoon's own life became increasingly desperate.
It's such a stark, disturbing contrast. It kind of makes your skin crawl.
It really does.
And it raises this deeply unsettling question, doesn't it? Why would someone who seemed, meticulous about his own life and career just completely relinquish all financial control and endure such hardship for his partner?
Right.
It points to maybe a profound level of trust, yes, but maybe also an inability to say no. Or perhaps a deep-seated vulnerability that was just mercilessly exploited.
Yoon, who apparently started out with quite a bit in savings, like 300 to 400 million won.
Yeah, he wasn't poor initially.
No, but he saw every last bit of it just disappear into Lee's hands. He started taking out loans just to cover his basic expenses.
Loans just to live.
Yeah, rent for both apartments, and crucially, keeping up those life insurance premiums.
Ah, the insurance.
His desperation became terrifyingly clear. He even searched online for ways to commit suicide, specifically for rope to hang oneself. It's like a silent scream for help.
God, imagine the psychological torment. To be pushed to that edge, actually contemplating ending your own life, while the person you've given absolutely everything to is living it up.
That's awful.
It paints this picture of extreme isolation, a total erosion of his will, probably made worse by the financial stranglehold Lee had on him.
And he still seemed concerned for her.
That's the truly tragic part. The fact he even drafted a letter instructing Lee to claim the insurance quickly if he died. It shows the immense pressure, but also his continued just tragic concern for her and her daughter, even as his own life was falling apart.
And here it is, the key financial detail, the dark heart of this story. An 800 million won life insurance policy.
Worth around 22 million Thai baht, or over $500,000 US.
Naming Lee as the sole beneficiary.
The sole beneficiary.
So it was during this period, Yoon's escalating desperation, that he experienced several really chilling near-death incidents.
Yeah, these weren't just bad luck.
Allegedly orchestrated by Lee and her secret lover, Hyeon-su.
And Cho, he wasn't exactly a model citizen either, right? Involved in illegal gambling, prostitution, and also a longtime friend of Lee's.
Right.
These incidents, when you look back, they stop looking like accidents. They reveal this terrifying pattern of behavior. It suggests a deliberate, escalating attempt to cause harm. A cold, calculated plot.
The first one was in February 2019. Lee took Yen to a restaurant that served fugu pufferfish.
Oh boy, fugu.
Yen nearly died from poisoning. Apparently, the fish was improperly prepared, the toxins weren't fully removed. Luckily, he was saved at the hospital.
Fugu poisoning is incredibly dangerous, often fatal. The idea that a chef supposedly made such a grave error in a restaurant specifically chosen by Lee, well, it adds another chilling layer, doesn't it?
Was it an error or something else?
Exactly.
Then not long after, another accident, this time on a boat trip with friends.
Okay.
Lee and Cho allegedly, quote, accidentally pushed Yoon into the water.
And the crucial part,
Yoon couldn't swim.
couldn't swim, and they pushed him in.
He almost drowned, but someone pulled him to safety. They just dismissed it. Oh, too much alcohol, just a mistake. A casual shrug for nearly killing him.
Knowing he couldn't swim,
Yeah,
that transforms it from just carelessness into something deeply malicious.
definitely.
And it makes you wonder, why did Yun keep putting himself in these situations, near water, with these specific people who'd already endangered him so badly? Was he just that manipulated? Or so trusting he couldn't see the danger?
It's hard to understand. This trail of horrifying near misses, it leads us directly to June 30th, 2019.
The day it finally happened.
Lee, Yun, Cho, and 4 other friends went on a trip to the Gapyeong Valley, a popular spot.
Right.
Around 8:30 p.m., it's getting dark, the air's turning cold. 3 of the men, Yun, Cho, and another friend, decide to jump from this cliff into the water below.
Okay.
Yun jumped. But this time, unlike the other times maybe, he didn't resurface. He just disappeared beneath the surface, swallowed by the darkness.
Gone.
So in the immediate aftermath, as the shock set in, it seemed like a straightforward tragedy. Cho reportedly jumped in to save him,
All right, the hero.
while the women called emergency services. But tragically, Yoon was pronounced dead at the scene, drowned.
And the police.
Initially, they closed the case. Accidental drowning. It happens there. It's a known risk spot. Lee played the devastated widow perfectly, and the community mourned.
The immediate aftermath definitely fit that tragic narrative. But it was what happened next, the cracks that started showing in that facade that revealed the really sinister stuff underneath.
Because the insurance company, they refused to pay out that 800 million won policy.
The twist. Why?
Because Yoon had missed a payment deadline. Just missed it. The policy was invalid.
Wow, okay.
So Lee, feeling wronged, cheated out of what she probably saw as her money, lodged formal complaints with financial regulators, and crucially, she contacted SBS television.
This was the turning point, wasn't it? Almost ironic. She went to the media expecting sympathy.
Exactly. She wanted SBS to expose the fraudulent insurance company, get justice for herself and her daughter, and remember her public image, that virtuous, struggling background.
Yeah, it made her seem like the perfect sympathetic victim for media story. She sought the spotlight.
And the spotlight ended up exposing her.
Precisely.
SBS, they're known for their really deep investigative documentaries. They initially took Lee's side. They thought they were uncovering corporate injustice.
Right.
But as their team dug deeper, interviewing people, gathering info, they started to feel, as they put it, a bad smell.
Things didn't add up.
What they uncovered was horrifying. Yoon's death, maybe not an accident after all. And the reality of his relationship with Lee was just miles away from the happy picture she was painting.
So what did they find?
They uncovered this starkly different, just agonizing reality for Yoon. His family had never approved of Lee.
You knew that.
His friends had warned him, told him Lee was bringing other men into her Incheon apartment, that she even let a female friend live there rent-free, all without his knowledge.
And Yoon's reaction?
He fiercely defended her, attributed her choices to, oh, it's work, she needs a support system. He tragically insisted he'd approved everything.
The level of denial or manipulation? It's staggering. The sheer financial and emotional investment he made, despite all those warning signs, despite his own deprivation. It speaks volumes about his devotion, or maybe more likely, the terrifying extent of the manipulation he was under. It's almost impossible to reconcile his love with the degrading life he was forced into.
Then came the bombshell. The testimony of Witness A, a female friend who was there at Gapyeong Valley that night.
Okay.
Her account completely contradicted Lee's version of events, shattered the whole accident narrative.
This is where it really shifts from tragedy to potential crime, right? It shows how vital those individual perspectives are,
right,
digging beyond the initial reports.
So Witness A recounted that after Yoon's first jump into the water that evening...
Wait, there was an earlier jump?
Yes. After that first jump, Cho apparently signaled to Lee that Yoon was safe.
All right.
Immediately after that signal, Lee distracted Witness A, asked her for a cigarette. While A was looking for one, Yoon jumped again. But this time, the inner tube, the safety device that should have been right there at the jump point, it wasn't there. Cho had it. He'd already jumped and taken it away with him.
He removed the safety gear. Deliberately.
It certainly looks that way. Yoon was left to drown. No assistance. Deliberately isolated from any chance of survival.
The coordinated actions, removing the safety device, it's profoundly suspicious. And Cho's alleged slow response, even though he had the inner tube, that implicates him further. It wasn't just an accident. It was an act of omission, lethal omission.
Witness A said she desperately yelled at Cho, "Throw the tube!" But he didn't.
He just watched.
Apparently. A and Lee then tried throwing other things, but it was too dark by then, too late. Cho eventually swam back, just chillingly claiming he couldn't see anything.
Unbelievable.
And the SBS team, they also found disturbing video evidence from the trip itself. Stuff that paints a picture of deliberate cruelty before the final jump.
What kind of video?
One clip showed Cho and another friend trying to flip Yoon off a big inner tube into the water. Yoon looks visibly terrified, clinging on for dear life.
Like they were tormenting him.
Exactly. And another clip, even more heartbreaking. It showed Yoon being forced to play this cruel game, smashing a watermelon with his head, disorienting him, while his so-called friends just laughed at him, treated him like a clown.
That's just degrading. Humiliating him right before.
It's appalling degradation, a public humiliation before his ultimate demise.
Okay, so armed with all this shocking evidence, the witness testimony, the videos,
Yoon's family and SBS, they went back to the authorities, convinced them to reopen the case in late 2019.
and Lee and Cho.
They went from figures of tragic sympathy to the prime suspects in a murder investigation.
And the public outcry, fueled by that SBS documentary, must have put immense pressure on the authorities. It really shows the power media can have in pushing for justice sometimes.
Definitely. So December 2020, they were indicted by the Incheon prosecutor. But both of them vehemently denied any wrongdoing, denied the affair, denied everything.
Of course.
The legal battle kicked off in February 2021. Prosecutors presented this mountain of evidence testimony from 30 witnesses, chat logs, physical evidence. It painted a really damning picture.
But then,
in December 2021, just as the legal net seemed to be tightening, Lee and Cho vanished. They fled custody.
they went on the run.
Yeah, sparked a nationwide manhunt. And that act of evasion, that desperate dash for freedom, it only strengthened the prosecution's case. It screamed guilt to the public.
Running from justice is rarely seen as a sign of innocence.
Yeah.
It just compounds the suspicion, adds this layer of calculated criminality.
And there was more. CCTV footage emerged showing Lee and Cho entering Yun's apartment after he died,
What were they doing?
taking his computer. And later, Cho even brought another unknown woman to live there, just desecrating Yun's memory.
That's incredibly callous.
On March 30th, 2022, the authorities took the unusual step of publicly releasing their photos. An appeal to the public, help us find these fugitives.
And the SBS documentary aired around then too, right?
Yes, April 2022. It vividly portrayed Yoon's tragic life, the alleged betrayal. Public anger just intensified, reached a fever pitch.
So the pressure was immense.
Finally, April 16th, 2022, Lee and Cho were arrested in Goyang. They'd been hiding for 3 months, no phones, no credit cards. Lee only surrendered after her parents apparently persuaded her.
A dramatic end to the chase.
Ah.
But the legal battle wasn't quite over.
Not quite. Initially, the court found the evidence wasn't quite enough for a direct murder charge. They cited this legal point that, well, spouses aren't always obligated to save their partners in every single circumstance.
A difficult legal distinction.
But after more evidence, more deliberation, on October 27, 2022, the final chilling verdict came down.
And the charge.
Murder by omission.
Ah, that's significant. It acknowledges responsibility not for the direct act of killing, but for that deliberate failure to help. The failure to intervene when there was a clear duty to do so.
Exactly.
Especially given the horrifying context those prior attempts on his life, the whole manipulative relationship. It's a conviction for choosing to let him die.
Lee Eun-hae received a life sentence. And Cho Hyeon-su got 30 years in prison, plus 20 years of electronic monitoring after release. The court concluded Lee acted for the insurance money, the 800 million won,
Dan Cho.
that he'd tried to kill Yoon twice before and finally succeeded on the third attempt. They noted they showed no remorse, actively tried to conceal their crimes.
What did Lee Eun-hae say in court?
She stated, quite coldly apparently, that she couldn't say if she ever loved Yoon. But she firmly denied killing him, right to the end, despite everything.
Wow.
And that crucial detail, the twist of tragic irony about the insurance.
The missed payment.
It was only because Yoon missed that payment deadline that the policy became invalid. That single oversight stopped Lee from getting the money immediately.
And inadvertently triggered the whole investigation that brought them down.
It's like a final, desperate act of self-preservation from Yoon, even after his death.
It really is a bitter irony, almost like a final unwitting act of defiance from Yoon. It just reminds you that sometimes justice unfolds in the most unexpected, almost accidental ways.
And the story still isn't quite finished. Remember the 2014 death? Lee's ex-boyfriend on the diving trip in Thailand?
Initially ruled an accident by Thai police, yeah.
Well, that's now being reinvestigated by both Korean and Thai authorities because of the new suspicions raised by Yoon's case.
So the shadows of her past might hold even more chilling truths.
It seems possible.
This expansion of the investigation, it really highlights a broader, unsettling pattern, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It forces us to reconsider those previous accidents in light of new evidence, new potential motivations. It's a real testament to critical thinking, not always accepting the first conclusion. True justice can take years.
And one final disturbing detail. While she was in prison, Lee was discovered to have been corresponding with Cho Ju-bin.
The nth room guy,
Oh.
the architect of that horrific online sex trafficking scandal.
That's the one. She was apparently seeking legal advice from him.
Seriously, that wow. That sparked even more public outrage, I imagine, deepening the debate about her true character, the depths of her manipulation.
Absolutely. So what does this all really reveal? The Gapyeong Valley murder. It's more than just a crime, isn't it? It feels like a chilling case study in how perceived vulnerability can be weaponized.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront how early public sympathy, like she had, can mask these deeper depravities, and how sometimes persistent media-driven investigation is the only thing that can overturn official narratives.
Precisely. And for Yoon Sang-yeop, it wasn't like outright physical force that ultimately ended him. It was this slow, calculated erosion of his financial independence, his emotional autonomy. It leaves you questioning how a seemingly successful, educated person can get so utterly entangled. It highlights the insidious nature of financial control, emotional manipulation, all within what looked like, from the outside maybe, a devoted relationship.
It's a truly stark look at the kind of predators that can hide in plain sight.
And the devastating vulnerability of those who get caught in their web.
It really leaves you wondering what truly changes a person. How do you go from being lauded as a filial child to someone capable of such cold calculations, such repeated attempts at murder?
Yeah.
And are there still more hidden truths waiting to be uncovered from Lee Eun-hae's past, still lurking in the shadows?
It's a truly unsettling case. Leaves us with so many questions about the darkness that could lurk just beneath the surface.
Well, if you've been gripped by this story, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Doc. We do more deep dives into the shadows just like this one.
Your support helps us keep digging.
Exactly. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep exploring the chilling truths.